Hey everybody, I am doing a project today that I wanted to share with you. I thought it might be helpful. So I'm collecting some seeds from some of my flowers that are done flowering right now, specifically Nigella or Love in a Mist. This was a really beautiful flower that was really at its peak in the spring, but it's not a hot weather flower, so it started going to seed. And so I've been collecting the seed pods on it and getting the seeds out of it so that I can save them for next year. So basically what I've done, I'll show you what they look like. So this is a seed pod from the Nigella plant. And I went through with this little tin outside, and you can tell when they're dried because they have the brownish, they're kind of stiff, and as opposed to they're green and they're a little more supple. So this is how you know it's ready, is if it's brown and dried, and even the stem has turned brown close to the pod. The other way you can tell, and the reason I had this little tin, is I put the tin underneath the pods and then I kind of tapped on them. I don't know if you can hear that, but you can hear a rattle as if it's like a little maraca. If it doesn't have that rattle, then the seeds inside it probably aren't ready. And I'll show you, I have some seeds here that I've already collected a couple days ago, and I'll see if I can show you the difference. So those are the seeds that are ready. They're black, they're really hard. They're just very stiff, and most notably they're black. And then there's some seeds in here that are not quite ready. You can see those maybe a little bit. So you can see, obviously they're not black. They're kind of blending into my finger, and they're not as big, and they're a little bit flakier. So we want the seeds that are black, like this, and they make a rattle in the pod. So basically I've collected these. It's been pretty dry recently, so I didn't really need to wait for them to dry out. Like if it's rained recently, or if it's in the morning and there's some dew on it, what you can do is put them in a paper bag and just let them dry out for a couple of days. They're much easier to work with if that's the case, but I didn't need to wait for these. So basically all I'll do, I have a paper plate here where I've already started collecting them, and I just take this one ready. Okay, that one's ready. So I just take it and I kind of rip it apart like this, and then I can tap it. You might be able to hear the seeds coming out. They're coming out really easily. So I do that with all of them. I just break them open like this and then tap it all out. I think I almost got everything. This one had a lot in it. So that's it. It's pretty simple. The hardest part about collecting seeds, I think, is getting in the groove of recognizing when the plant is done flowering, and then recognizing what the seed pod looks like. So I'm hoping this season I can start taking more pictures and really documenting what things look like, because last year when I was starting to collect some things, I either picked them too early or I waited too long and the seeds has already fallen out of the pods. So I'm trying to keep a better track of what the seed pods look like. If I'm ever in doubt, one rule of thumb is if you planted it from seed in the beginning, you probably remember what the seeds looked like. And so you can base it off of that. Did the seeds in this pod look like they did when I first planted them? The other thing is just a quick Google search. I'll type in like Nigella, Love in a Mist, seed pod. And it's kind of hit or miss. There's not a lot of pictures on the internet that can really show you what seed pods look like. Whenever I've looked up harvesting seeds, it gives a very general, ambiguous description of how to do it, but with some flowers just look really different. Like zinnia seeds look really different from these Nigella seeds, which look different than sunflower seeds. And so it's easy to say like, oh, just wait until the seed pod is dried on the plant and then pick it. And I'm kind of like, well, is it ready? Is it done? I don't know. What's it supposed to look like? So anyway, so I'm going to try and keep track of what everything looks like and maybe post some better pictures on the internet to help other people who are interested in saving seeds. So this is just a fun little project. I mean, seeds aren't that expensive. It's not like you're saving a whole lot of money, but it is kind of a fun thing to do, to recycle flowers that you really liked from one season and grow them yourself the next season. Or if you planted them, if you bought the plants at the beginning of the season as opposed to starting them from seed, it's a way you can save money next year by not having to buy a plant again and starting the plant yourself. So hope you enjoyed that, got something out of it. Just, observe your plants over the season. This is a little early to be collecting seeds, but like I said earlier, this is more of a cool season spring flower. So I knew that it was done blooming and I just let it go to seed. This is going to start being more applicable like towards August and September, when a lot of annuals are done flowering, and that's when you can really do it. In the meantime, to prevent your flower from going to seed and to keep it blooming longer, you can deadhead the flower before it gets to that point. And that kind of tricks the flower into continuing to bloom. Because once it sets seed, the life cycle of the plant just says, oh, I'm done. I don't need to produce any flowers anymore. So you can kind of stall that process by deadheading the flowers first. But at the end of the season, once they're naturally done, and it's like right before the first frost, you can go ahead and start collecting these. All right, hope you guys have a great day.